Hello Aquarius, welcome to your reading for fall 2025. This is for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and your Venus. How is Aquarius doing? Today is the 22nd of October, so we're already a month into fall, but that's okay. So Aquarius, I'm going to back up a little bit and talk about all of the signs because there's a progression. I've noticed that as we go through the signs from the beginning of Aries all the way through now to Aquarius, and then I have Pisces left, and that'll be it. The intensity starts to grow, or the lessons and the direction starts to get more evolved, which is how it should be, right? The first four signs of our astrology are as the beginning steps. That's all the stuff at the very beginning markers where they have, it's kind of like the Fool in the Tarot, where they have to figure things out, right? Because they don't have any information that's been guiding them, so they have to trust on the inner magician, right, to carry them. Then we get to the second set of our signs, and now they have some knowledge, right? They've gained some experience along the way, so their decisions now will be a little different than those in the beginning. And then as we get to the last group, we have kind of attained wisdom, so our transformation will be a little more pronounced because of the wisdom that we've experienced and learned along the way from the signs that have come before us. So I just want to point that out. So this is again for your Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising. For your Venus, we have the Ganesha deck, the Spirit Animals, the Tarot, and our Ascended Masters. And always refer to my notes. So Aquarius, Pluto turned direct on the 13th of October in Aquarius. So this is creating a threshold for internal and external changes for you. So a lot of big things happening, a lot of big shifts, and we'll see what the Tarot holds for you. And this also, Aquarius, is a time of really, really deep transformation, but it's not, you probably are not even surprised by that, right? So you're asked always, we're being asked to let go of what no longer serves you, because by doing so, you then start to empower yourself to align with your truth. So letting go so you can empower yourself to be more aligned with your truth, Aquarius. So let's start off with our Ganesha deck, and let's see what this holds for you. But that is very true. So when we find ourselves in a place where we are resistant to change or to letting go, or resistant to letting go of something, usually it's because we're done with that thing, that situation, maybe that person, that house, the job, whatever it is. And, letting go just creates space or opens the new door, or for us to empower us so we can align with our next evolution of our truth. Very powerful stuff, and I love how these progressions happen. So let's see, we'll take this top one that was sitting out. Guidance, number 33, guidance. And somebody else had this card too. So this guidance, as you start to let go and step away, leaning into guidance, maybe from friends and family, right? Maybe guidance from readers, and that ethereal or celestial or spiritual guidance from the divine forces, the supernatural. Now, listening to all that stuff, your intuition, right? So let's see what animal spirit is guiding our Aquarius. Right, there's a bunch of cards popping over. See what animal spirit is guiding our Aquarius. So again, guidance, right? So we are always, all of us are being guided every day. The thing is, things happen, life happens. We get irritated, we get our feelings hurt, whatever it is, and we don't always hear the guidance. Okay, this popped out. Card number 54, Know Your Worth, Skunk Spirit. Somebody else had this card too. So know your worth. So Aquarius, as you start to feel things shifting and changing, and as you start to relinquish into the art of letting go, and you start to empower yourself, right? Especially when you start to empower yourself, know your worth. You don't always have to go to just the next step. You can take a quantum leap at this point. And it could be like if you're up for promotion at work and it's one level up from where you're at, maybe go for something that's a couple levels ahead of where you are, or however it is that works. If you are moving into a new home, maybe you're in an apartment and you're looking like for a condo, maybe go for the house, right? Maybe go for something a little bigger, like know your worth. This is really time to step into your, I want to say like your inner Venus, although Venus is not your ruling planet, but stepping into your inner Venus. And, you know, with Pluto turning direct in Aquarius, in your sign, we're being asked, or we're being guided to be a little bolder in our moves, in our actions, and in our dreams and desires. So know your worth, Aquarius. Know your worth as you start to forge ahead. Again, it does not have to be, it can be the very next step or the very next level, but you don't have to settle for that if you don't want to. And I don't think Aquarians really settle anyway. Most of the Aquarian friends that I know, they generally don't settle. They kind of know their value, but just as a reminder, if life has been a little hard, if you've kind of lost focus in yourself, yeah, just know who you are. And I always say, I've been saying lately, 2 cards up, King of Cups, Queen of Wands, fire and water. So although fire and water do not balance each other out, they can create some heat and some passion, some sizzle and some steam. We have 2 cards face down. We have the King of Cups and the Queen of Wands. 2 more cards face down. So I love when the cards just want to pop out. That means they have something to say to you. See if anything else wants to come out for our Aquarius friends. Here's a card face up. 7 of Pentacles, another. Geez, oh. 7 of Pentacles. And we'll see if anything else pops out. So yeah, again, you can go to the very next step. But maybe not. Okay, 2 more cards popped out. We'll take them. We'll end there. 3 of Swords. I just put this card back in the deck. It fell out with a couple other cards. You know, like how they flip over. There was too many cards, so I put them back. This was one of the cards. Healing from Heartbreak. I'll be interested to see if these 2 cards were any of the other cards that flipped over while I was shuffling. Might be the universe telling me, Debbie, just take the cards. Just take them. Just take them. 3 of Swords. So whatever's on the root of the deck for the reading, that is the root of your reading, right? That is the foundation for your reading. Healing. Healing from heartbreak. And you had the King of Cups. The first card that came face up. So not allowing your emotions to take over, but to allow yourself to be comfortable and sitting with your emotions and what are they telling you. But let's go on. Let's find these cards that are upside down. King of Wands, Knight of Wands, King of Cups. So a lot of heat and passion and fire. You have the King and Queen of Wands right on top of each other. King of Wands is here, and right underneath is the Queen of Wands. So whenever pairs show up, the King and the Queen in the same suit, they're not always necessarily spiritually guided, spiritual connections, but it is about balance, and it is about heat, and it's about passion. So far you have 3 fire cards. So And, you're an air sign. So air and fire go very well together. So what flames, Aquarius, do you need to fan for yourself? Let's just pull over all the cards. Page of Cups. The Emperor. Powerful major arcana. So far, the only major arcana to show up for you. 9 of Cups. 2 of Pentacles. All right. So let's dig into this. King of Wands. This is, again, know your worth. King of Wands, King of Cups, Queen of Wands. 3 of Swords on the root of the deck. Healing. Healing. As you pull, or 3 of Swords rather. I think I said 3 of Wands, 3 of Swords. As you start to pull each sword out, that will leave a mark, right? But as you start to pull each sword out, a couple of things will happen. Where that sword was, whatever drips out, is what you're releasing and letting go of, whatever that pain is, or that heartbreak is, or whatever it was. If there were lies or deception around a situation, this does not have to be a love situation. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. It could be a situation that was very unfair. You were treated very unfairly. So as you pull each sword out, let all those things associated with that sword go. Pull that out with it. All the things that have held you back from knowing who you are or valuing your worth. And as it starts to heal, it will still have the mark there. As a reminder, not what you've been through, Aquarius, but for what you've overcome. And let it be healed with your own self-empowerment, with your own personal alignment. You have a lot of heat and energy. So this is what this King of Cups is sitting with yourself and the emotions as you start to pull out these swords, and as these emotions start to drain a pull out of your body, you're going to then replace them with whatever lights you up, whatever you find passionate in your life. What passions, Aquarius, have you put aside? What passions about yourself have you maybe even forgot about? Right? Because life takes over. Things get in the way. They get in our minds. People step in. Reignite your passions, and let your passions fill the space. So instead of, pulling out the pain and filling it with excitement and passion and light. But sit with it. Sit with what you've been through, and acknowledge. There's a lot of acknowledgement here, Aquarius, for what you've been through and what you have overcome. Knight of Wands, Page of Cups. We'll get to the Emperor in a second. And again, water and fire. You have a lot of water and fire. Again, fire can boil water into nothing, into vapor. But water can put fire out. But together in harmony, they can create steam. They can create passion, right? Like the steamed mirror and all that stuff. So there's a lot of passion for you to explore now. Allowing yourself to be unbridled. The horse, probably a wild Mustang. I'm going to say it's a wild Mustang in the background. And she's living life to the beat of her own drum. She is just beating her drum to her own rhythm. Knight of Cups, or Page of Cups rather. Freeing yourself from the things that are not aligned with your heart space. Emperor, you're at the very top. In the very top. The Emperor. Lean into the Emperor energy. The energy that is confident. The energy that has a quiet strength. The energy that just leans into his own knowing. Right? For these other kings, these other kings all get their energy from the emperor. He fuels all the 4 other kings by himself. So lean into all of the elements. 7 of Pentacles. You can't quite see what's coming for you, what opportunities are presenting themselves, but you've done the work. Once you start to pull out, and whatever these swords are, again, it could be heartbreak, it could be deception, it could be frustration, it could be being treated unfairly, whatever they are, you can't quite see what's coming up because it's just a little bit growing here. But you have the 9 of Cups. Fulfillment. Look, she's just jumping off. No, she's jumping actually. See that? The treasure chest. Like, everything will open up for you. Everything is just ready to explode for you. And like I think I said this to Capricorn. This reading is for the fall, but these readings go long beyond that. So there could still be some more seeds that are still rooted into the ground that haven't grown yet, that may not grow until the spring. Why do you have this fulfillment? Because you've decided to make better choices for yourself. You've decided to choose yourself and your happiness. You've decided that this is not how you identify yourself. You identify yourself through here, through the excitement, through the joy, for living life in your own rhythm, for allowing yourself to break free, for trusting that there is so much more beneath the surface than we can ever realize, for knowing that you have the passion to live your life and the comfort and the stability to sit in your emotions and not let them overtake you and not let them throw you off. That is that internal divine guidance. Aquarius, this is a great reading. Let's pull out your Ascended Master card. Let's see who is guiding you through all of this. Big changes, big awarenesses, and again, some bravery or some clear focus and clear words coming out now that Pluto is direct in your sign. And Pluto, we know, will be with you for quite a while, Aquarius. So you're doing a lot of work for yourselves and for the world, right? Artistic expression, I think Leo had this, or somebody had this. Artistic expression, Paul the Venetian. So artistic expression, how do you want to express yourself? And art is subjective. It can be, like when I was going to school, it was drawing. Drawing was considered art, or painting. You know, music was considered a form of art. But art can be anything. It could be the clothes that you wear are an artistic expression of who you are. It could be the way that you speak to people and how you present yourself into the world can be your own artistic expression. So find your artistic expression, Aquarius, and put it out there. Yeah, there's a lot happening, and you have this. This is such a great and powerful time for you. Lean into Pluto. He's in your sign. He's going to be there for a long time. So make friends with Pluto. And dive into your own personal traits. And see what traits that maybe you haven't been feeding, and feed into them. Again, know your worth. Know your worth, Aquarius. This is the message in its entirety for your reading. And if you have any questions, just put them in the comments. And of course, if you want to take a deeper dive in your personal situation, my information, my contact should be in the notes below. So, Aquarius, a happy fall. I will see you in the next reading.